Alright, so what we're going to go over today is pretty much going to be everybody's favorite melee matchups into ranged matchups, top lane, and some tips and tricks that can pretty much make this way easier for you overall. Now, looking at this game, I picked GP, pretty standard for me, and this person picked Quinn as a counter pick. Now, in Champ Select, they were bouncing between Quinn and Renekton, so obviously they were picking it because of my champion selection. Now, something to think about when you see something like that is the potential mastery of the person. So this person didn't have mastery 6, they didn't even have mastery 4 if I remember. So what that means is pretty much that they're not going to be as skilled. Now, something else I'll do real quick here, I always take the fog when I'm doing my bot reviews and I put it on my side. I don't want to be too critical on myself about decisions that I could have made with information that I didn't actually have, right? So that's not fair. That's not going to help us actually get better here. So something to keep in mind. Now, this is really important. This first little scuffle in the beginning of the game changes everything. So right, they're fighting, right? And then what I notice is I'm like, okay, they're still fighting, and then I think, wait a second, hold on. Ezreal's still going. I see Quinn is backing right here. Now, I know for a fact that Quinn still has 4 seconds on her back, right? That means in 4 seconds, she's going to end up here. The minions are already almost halfway up the lane. So what that means is that I have tempo advantage and I have priority on the first wave. So I can do whatever I want with this first wave. Now there's 3 things that can be done here. Now the first thing we can do is we can just push and get level 2, right? But that's not really going to punish the Quinn. The second thing we could do is we could try and freeze maybe before she gets here. That's not really going to be a thing though, so let's just take that out completely. Now, the third is something that you may not even know that you're able to do. I can drag this wave, and what this does is it's going to do 2 things. I'm going to show them to you right now. And this is what makes this matchup pretty much like winnable right from the first minion for me. So what I do, and how you perform this, is you walk up, and the reason I'm walking up here is because I know that their jungler is bot side, and I know that Quinn is going to be late to lane by about probably anywhere from 4 to 6 seconds. I have time to play here. So what you do is you go up, you make sure that when you do this, you catch the aggro of every minion. Now, realistically, I shouldn't have autoed here, but I did that for a specific reason. Now I'm going to go in this bush and drop aggro. And now that I've dropped aggro, 2 things are going to happen. One thing that's going to happen is the minions, right, are inevitably going to push this way so long as I don't auto this wave. That means that I get to play under my tower by the time that my jungler paths topside, right, on waves 3 through 5 if I manage this correctly. Which means that now Quinn can be ganked and killed. We set all this up simply by dragging the wave in the beginning of the game, right? Now, there's 2 other things that happen here that are really, really good for us. And the reason I'm trying to make sure that this doesn't push out is because I want something to happen here. And the reason why I'm being very careful with my last hits is because I want these minions to die. When these minions die, that means I have a permanent XP lead on the Quinn. So even though Quinn has priority in lane, which normally would grant you level 2 first, I will get level 2 the same time as her. So what we've done is we've given her a bad lane state, good lane state for us, and we've secured the level lead for us. So now Quinn's game, for all intensive purposes, should not be playable. She would have to all in, and I would have to play up in her minion wave, and she would have to use all of her sums in order for her to kill me. Now, the other reason I'm doing this is because she doesn't have TP. So if she takes bad trades into this, eventually she's going to have to back off and lose even more XP. So, what we're going to do, and I apologize, I'm a little stuffy, is we're just going to play this out. Now she's missed 3 minions, 4 minions. So she misses almost an entire wave worth of XP. And we'll see what happens here. I'm just focusing on the last hits. Now here, this Quinn is not playing the wave correctly at all. I mean, she knows she's behind, but realistically, she could be autoing me when I go for these last hits, and the only thing she risks aggroing is this guy. These guys aren't close enough to hit her. So when you are playing the ranged versus melee matchup, your only strength is your auto attacks. And if you're not using them, then this is free. I'm going to scale, and you're going to lose lane. So let's keep watching here. So, like I said, I want this to push out, so I'm just going for last hits. I'm not worried about any poke I take because I have Fleet and Second Wind, plus Doran's Shield, right? We want a very, very defensive start, so that way we would be okay. Now I miss Cannon there, which is pretty bad, right? She's going to trade into me a little bit. That's fine. Now, here's something that's even more important, right? This wave is pushing into me hard. I might lose 3 minions on this roam if I go. And the reason why is because her minions are killing my minions so much faster because of this stacked wave. So because I know this, I can leave here, and she has 2 choices. She either has to fast push, or she has to follow. If she follows, she misses even more XP and gold. I'm not going to miss much. And if she fast pushes, I'm going to kill her jungler uncontested over here because he's doing an invade. So we'll watch and see how this plays out. Now, personally, I think the right thing for her to do is to fast push. She doesn't have priority, right, on the roam. I'm going to get there before her. And if I get there before her, you have priority on the roam. That's how priority works. And this wave's not under my tower. So realistically, she's missing more XP, more gold, and she's not going to save this guy anyways, right? Now we stick around here. So she missed another 4 minions. So this Quinn is down 6 minions in XP, at least minimum right now. Plus she's down in gold. Now, I have not been farming well, right? So our gold is pretty much even right now. But that's not what's important. What's important is my level advantage, right? And now, when we look at this wave state, the most important thing is exactly what I said and what we set up at a minute 30 when the minions spawned, right? This is how important the first 5 minutes of your game can be, by the way. This can be the deciding factor between you winning and losing lane. My Bel'Veth, sure as crap, is coming over here because there's no threat from the enemy jungler, right? She's going to heal off of this next camp. And this person is in a terrible spot. And if we run her off, we freeze this lane because we have TP. And she has Ignite. And her lane is over. It's literally over. So we'll watch what happens. Right? So we do our best to maintain this freeze. Mess up a little bit. I'm not going to give up too much. Because really, even if we don't kill her here, she's still missing more XP and more gold, right? And my Bel'Veth knows that, and I know that. This Bel'Veth was pretty good. So she did the right thing, right? Now she's missing even more. So now she's going to go do Scuttle. She pretended like she was going to back, right? But now Quinn's pushing up again. And now this time, because the wave is pushing back out for me, right? I want to kill her so that then I can crash this wave, right? That's my goal. And you can see I am at level almost 5, and she is just about to get level 4. So we have almost a 75%, right, level lead on this person, just from the way we played the beginning. It's funny that those look like 4s. Okay. So let's continue watching this out. Now, where's she gonna go, right? She has flash, but so do I. I'll use my flash. Now, here's the most important thing, is what I could do here, realistically, is maybe I could try to freeze, right? Like I could try to freeze because there's 3 here and there's here this and everything else. But what I want to do, because I know she doesn't have TP, is I just want to apply as much pressure as possible and I want to collect this gold. And there's 2 reasons for that. One, I want the wave state to come back towards me because it makes Quinn feel helpless, because if we're not in extended wave state, how is she going to fight me, right? Now, this isn't the best for me, but I didn't want to stay without flash and risk. I didn't remember if the Udyr had taken his blue buff or not. So with that, I didn't want to stay and risk Quinn coming back and Udyr coming up and ganking me since I don't have flash, right? I can come back with my item and break this if she freezes it. I don't really care. Because in terms of gold right now and levels, I know that I'm 2 levels up on her and I'm, let's see, I'm 500 gold up on her. So what's she gonna do if she freezes it? She's gonna fight me in my large wave here and hold the freeze? She can't. She's not stronger than me, right? So I don't really care if she freezes. She'll catch up in XP a little bit, but we'll still have a substantial lead here. My concern here was this item buy that I had, and this is a key thing for you to win these kind of matchups. Now I don't end up TPing here, because she only caught like a little bit more than 1 wave worth of XP. So I'm just going to walk in with my extra wave here. And now having TP advantage, that means I can trade as aggressively as I want, because I can just TP back to lane with full health, right? Now, here's the most important thing that really ends this lane for her. And it happens, you know, right now. And I'm just going to draw your attention right here. And then I'll give you a little hint. Spell it out for you guys. Not because you're not smart, but just because it's fun. All right. Her lane's over. Not only do I have 20 armor, which negates more than the AD she was able to buy, because she's got to buy AD because she's Quinn. I have more sustain, and I'm cutting every part of her damage by 12% right now. If you're in a ranged melee matchup top, get your boots first. And then the next thing I buy is a refillable. So at no point in this lane, if I manage my pots and my spacing correctly, and I use my fleet footwork, can she kill me. She took all stomp lane, kill the GP sums, right? And now all of it doesn't matter. She cannot play the lane. Now, this is the kind of stuff that I go over, like when we do coaching sessions and whatnot, but this is how important the first 5 minutes of your game can be as a laner and a jungler, right? And setting things up at 1 minute for the things you want to happen at 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, or 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, right? That's how we play League of Legends to win. Now later on, this Quinn gets so upset that she pretty much ends up leaving lane and just roaming, which just makes the game worse. But, I mean, you can see how right now my team has secured a 2k gold lead almost at 5 minutes, and I'm 500 gold of that, you know. That's pretty substantial, especially in the early game. So I hope you guys kind of learned from this, learned something about wave manipulation, learned something about your ranged melee matchups top, and kind of how you try your best to manipulate and get any advantage where you can, and then get those plated steel caps early. They're a big help.